If you're a business owner or a aesthetic clinic owner, you definitely understand how hard it is to market and to sell your products or your services, right? I've came up with this educational deck, and inside of it, it'll give you, in the context of marketing and sales, the problems that you're facing in your business, the solution to it, how you could build out a system, and the action plans that you could take to do so. All right. My personal guarantee is that after this presentation, you will have a clearer understanding of how sales and marketing actually works. And the best part is that it'll only take 2 to 3 minutes of your day. All right, so let's get into it. So the most common problems that I see aesthetic clinics or just business in general face is that they have inconsistent lead flow, right? You don't have enough traffic coming into your business, and you're not marketing your business aggressively enough. When you don't market your business, you're generally just telling the market that you are not in business anymore. You are out of business, right? And the main channels for you to get traffic flowing into your business will be ads, organic content, outreach, either emails or calls, or referrals and affiliates, right? Now, the best way is to always go through ads because it's the quickest and simplest way to get traffic into your business. You essentially just have to pay like these platforms, right? The second issue is that you have weak conversions, right? Maybe you have traffic coming in consistently, but you don't have the systems in place to convert that traffic into an actual appointment or a sale, right? You could have a lot of leads coming in, but if you're not doing anything about it, if you're not nurturing the leads, you're essentially just burning money at that point, right? The third problem is that you have a lack of systems, right? You don't systemize the whole process of getting leads to nurturing them to closing them, right? As a business owner, you essentially want to focus on the high-level activities, right? Activities that would actually move the business forward, and you want to build systems in place that could remove you from the day-to-day activities, so you have time to focus on high-level strategy, right? Now here's the system in place, right? The first solution is to always have good creatives paired with accurate messaging to bring in your ideal customers, right? For example, when you're doing outreach, when you're creating content, or when you're running ads, is your messaging aligned with who you're trying to target, right? Is it hitting their pain points? Are you drawing their attention? In this attention economy right now, it is so hard to get people's attention. So you need to have your messaging really dialed down to speak to your specific avatar so that they understand that they'll be interested in what you have to sell. All right. The second solution is to have a sales funnel that ensures that leads turn into actual bookings. What that may look like would be maybe you training a receptionist or a appointment setter, and you have actually AI actually integrated into your business to send out emails, SMS follow-ups and stuff like that to actually nurture the leads into an actual appointment, to get them to come in to your clinic and you actually close the sale, right? The third solution would be to build out the systems and to actually train your team to ensure how they know how the system actually works, right? What that may look like is that you have SOPs in place, you have KPIs, metrics, so that you actually ensure that your team understands how the process works and what target they are supposed to hit, what metrics they are supposed to hit, right? So that you ensure that the whole process is as simple and as efficient as possible. Now here's a case study that I have of my client, which I've worked with for over a year. So right now we've been working for close to about a year now. How would you say the experience is like working with us?
Look, the experience has been great, to be honest. When you started, I think it was a no experience sort of area where you want to come into medical marketing, and I appreciate that you worked voluntarily for the first few months, and it kind of shows the character and your seriousness to get into this industry. I guess it's a part of passion, so I think both you from marketing and me as a cosmetic doctor sort of work together, and I feel the experience has been great. My Facebook leads have increased over the years, and I'm hoping that it gets better.
So the issue that this client was facing was essentially we were getting a lot of leads, but we were not having a sales funnel to actually convert those leads, right? So if you can see here, right, this is the start of the month. Essentially, this is over a few months, right? We've gotten 604 leads and we've spent $6,000 doing so, which comes out to an average of about $11 a lead, which is pretty good because considering the products or services that we're selling are actually high ticket. We're selling Botox and fillers, right? So now we've worked together for a year, right? Essentially, I've gone through with him every problem that we could face, and we've resolved it together step by step, right? The first preliminary problem is that we were not getting much leads, right? Lead flow would always die 3 to 5 days within, and then we have to create a new creative again, and it's very time consuming doing so, right? Secondary problem, we were getting consistent leads already. We've managed to crack the code in terms of what a winning creative would look like. But as a solo business owner, as a doctor, right, he was getting very overwhelmed, and he didn't have time to nurture the leads or to call or to follow up with the leads, and he was essentially just wasting money, because at the same time he had to do the treatments, he had to do the admin work. So generally he really didn't have time to nurture the leads, right? So the tertiary problem was that we had leads who were disinterested because we have already solved the problem. We've hired someone, and he actually had time to train that person up, nurture the leads up, and at that point it was that the leads were disinterested, they were price gauging, and they were just time wasters, right? But we slowly figure out a way to nurture and to qualify and to convert leads, and to eventually increase our conversion rate to actually now 30%, which is not too bad for cold traffic, right? And the current problem that we're facing is that we already have a system to generate leads, qualify leads, and nurture leads, but right now we're really just focusing on improving our conversion rate and to increase our sales process by testing different offers, packaging, and vice versa. Right, so here's the action plan that you could really do, right? First of all, you need to understand the components of a good ad. What qualifies that as a good ad? Because when you're running ads, you don't want to essentially spend money on something that doesn't work. You want to have a good winning creative. Second way is to have a way to really qualify leads and to ensure that they are interested in what you have to sell. That way, you're not wasting time calling up people and then just having them say that, they're not interested, or they're just price gauging, right? Third is to have a really clear sales funnel and a process to actually turn these leads, qualified leads, into actual appointments. And then fourth is to actually sell them on your core offer. Now you need to understand what is your core offer, all right? What is a irresistible offer that people will feel stupid saying no to, and you really dial down on that offer. So that's it for me. Follow for more valuable insights, and if you actually want someone to handle all these systems and processes for you, DM process or comment the word process, and we will get in touch.